Neuralink hopes to implant computer in human brain in 6 months. Rolex to certify used watches as genuine for the first time. Dating apps help China protesters defy authorities. EU proposal wants to send frozen Russian funds to Ukraine. Interpol confirms threat notice for Angolan billionaire. EU warns Musk to beef up Twitter controls. U.S. House Democrats elect first Black Party leader. The Baguette gets UN World Heritage status.
G'day, I'm Carrick. Welcome to FUNDAY News. Today is Friday the 2nd of December, and here are your top stories. Elon Musk said on Wednesday that Neuralink has been refining its main product for the brain, which consists of a tiny device and electrode-laced wires, along with a robot that carves out a piece of the skull and implants the wiring. Musk said ongoing discussions with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration have gone well enough for the company to consider human trials within the next 6 months. Neuralink is also working on an ocular implant to improve or even restore human vision.
I've often said that prototypes are easy, production is hard.
The goal of the brain-computer interface, known as a BCI, is initially to allow a person with a debilitating condition, such as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, or suffering the after-effects of a stroke, to communicate via their thoughts. The company demonstrated that with a monkey telepathically typing on a screen in front of it. The Neuralink device translates neuronal spikes into data that can be interpreted by a computer. As to Neuralink's vision work, Musk said, "Even if they have never seen before, we are confident they could see."
Rolex SA said on its website that it will begin issuing certificates of authenticity to authorized dealers selling its own pre-owned watches in a move that will give the Swiss company more oversight on its product and shake up the 20 billion market for second-hand luxury timepieces. The Swiss dealer Billionaire will be the first to begin selling pre-owned Rolex watches certified as authentic by the company across Europe. Other authorized Rolex dealers can begin participating in the program by spring 2023.
Rolex said it will only certify watches that are at least 3 years old in an effort to dissuade so-called flippers who sell new watches at prices above retail. Non-authorized dealers who sell second-hand watches in person and online, as well as auction houses, won't be able to take part. Rolex's timepieces dominate second-hand sales at dealers and online. According to Deloitte, the world luxury pre-owned watch market is expected to grow to $35 billion by 2030.
Since last weekend's protests in China, videos, images, and written accounts of the opposition to the nation's tough COVID-19 measures have poured onto China's heavily censored cyberspace, along with anti-government speeches. Residents, including students and campuses across China, organized their own gatherings, which they in turn filmed and posted online. The locations of the planned gatherings are not given without any explanation or conveyed with map coordinates or even via a blurred map in the background of a post.
Protesters communicating via the most popular but highly censored WeChat app keep information to a bare minimum. Protesters have set up Telegram groups to share information for their cities, while dating app messaging services are also being used in the hope they face less scrutiny. A few hours before protesters gather in cities like Shanghai and Chengdu, online flyers and pinned locations were widely shared on Telegram groups, Instagram, and Twitter.
The president of the EU's European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, gave an estimation of the damage suffered by Ukraine throughout the war, saying Russia's invasion cost the nation an estimated 600 billion euros so far. The European Commission proposed a plan on Wednesday to compensate Ukraine with damages taken straight from Russian funds frozen under sanctions. Frozen Russian assets include around 300 billion from Russia's central bank reserves and 20 billion held by blacklisted Russians. The plan aims to make Russia and its oligarchs compensate Ukraine for the war.
Russia and its oligarchs have to compensate Ukraine for the damage.
European Commission's officials said that one short-term option for Western nations would be to create a fund to manage and invest liquid assets, mainly cash, of the central bank, and use the proceeds to support Ukraine. The assets would be returned to their owners when sanctions were lifted, which could be part of a peace agreement that ensure Ukraine receive compensation for damages. The president of the EU's executive, Ursula von der Leyen, said Russia must pay financially for the devastation that it caused.
Struck 它是 strike 这动词的过去式 ，strike a deal 就是
学习，享受一个人的美好时光。FUNDAY 英语。
Global police agency Interpol confirmed on Wednesday it had issued a red notice for Angolan billionaire Isabel dos Santos, daughter of the country's former president José Eduardo dos Santos, asking global law enforcement authorities to locate and provisionally arrest her. Dos Santos has faced corruption accusations for years, including allegations by Angola in 2020 that she and her husband had steered $1 billion in state funds to companies in which they held stakes, all during her father's presidency, including from oil giant Sonangol.
Angola's former first daughter is provisionally charged as authorities call on her to come home to face trial.
A source close to Dos Santos said on November 19 that she had yet to be notified by Interpol. According to Portugal's Lusa news agency, an official document related to the request made to Interpol mentions that Dos Santos is often in Portugal, Britain, and the United Arab Emirates. The same document cited by Lusa said 49-year-old Dos Santos was wanted for various crimes, including alleged embezzlement, fraud, influence peddling, and money laundering. Interpol said that it had issued a red notice at the request of Angolan authorities.
A top European Union official warned Elon Musk on Wednesday that Twitter needs to beef up their measures to protect users from hate speech, misinformation, and other harmful content in order to avoid violating new rules threatening tech giants with big fines or even a ban in the 27-nation bloc. The EU's Commissioner for Digital Policy, Thierry Breton, told Musk that its social media platform will have to significantly increase efforts to comply with new rules, known as the Digital Services Act, set to take effect next year.
EU official in charge of internet regulation warned new Twitter CEO Elon Musk that the social media company must follow EU regulations in Europe.
The law will require tech companies to better police their platforms for material that, for instance, promotes terrorism, child sexual abuse, hate speech, and commercial scams. It's part of a new digital rulebook that has made Europe the global leader in the push to rein in the power of social media companies, potentially setting up a clash with Musk's vision for a more unfettered Twitter. Britain said he was pleased to hear that Musk considers the EU rules a sensible approach to implement on a worldwide basis.
A 52-year-old from Brooklyn, Hakeem Jeffries, was unanimously elected on Wednesday to become the Democratic Party's top leader in the U.S. House of Representatives beginning in January, making him the first Afro-American to hold such a high-ranking position in Congress. The vote by Jeffries' fellow Democrats also marked the rise of a young generation of leaders in the 435-member House and the end of the Nancy Pelosi era and control by other Democrats already in the 80s.
So let's take a look at who the new younger leaders are going to be. And we're going to start with Hakeem Jeffries. He's a
59-year-old Representative Catherine Clark of Massachusetts was also elected as the Democratic Whip, which is the number 2 House position under Jeffries' leadership. Californian Pete Aguilar, 43, and a member of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, was elected to Jeffries' current job of Democratic Caucus chairman. Their elections mean that for the first time in either party, the top 3 party roles are held by women or people of color. They will serve the 118th Congress that convenes on January 3rd.
And a bit of levity for our last piece of news. What is more quintessentially French than la baguette? Well, the crunchy French ambassador for the nation's cuisine is now being added to the UN's list of intangible cultural heritage as a cherished tradition to be preserved by humanity. The UN Cultural Agency UNESCO's chief, Audrey Azoulay, said that the decision honors more than just bread. It recognizes the savoir-faire of artisanal bakers and a daily ritual. The former French Minister for Culture said that it's important that such craft, knowledge, and social practices can continue to exist in the future.
There's something to celebrate as UNESCO has added the baguette to its intangible cultural heritage list.
With the bread's new status, the French government said it planned to create an artisanal baguette day called the Open Bakehouse Day as a way to make stronger connections between the French people and their heritage. The artisanal know-how and the culture of baguette bread was inscribed at the Morocco meeting among other global cultural heritage items. France's Bread Observatory notes that the French munch through 320 baguettes of one form or another every second. That is an average of half a baguette per person per day, and 10 million every year.
And we're all waiting for bubble tea to make the same move for Taiwan. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. FUNDAY News is here to help you improve your ability in English and keep you informed about international current events at the same time. If you want to know more about our programs and keep learning about the most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Carrick, your host. It was my pleasure.